Hi folks, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Natasha and I do book things here. Today's video is going to be a long one. This is my library book sale haul. I have 34 books here, most of which I don't know anything about. Basically what the library sale in my city is I pay $5. I go in for 20 minutes into like literally a back library room. You get 20 minutes to basically pick all the books you want. So for these 34 books, I paid $12. I'm going to break them up and show you guys the ones that I know nothing about first, and then the ones that I actually recognize last. Why not? It's going to be a long video. I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible, but it's 34 books, so this could be 35 minutes. So we'll see. Typically for the library sale, I just grab on cover, I find out what the hell they're about after, because when they're that inexpensive, why not? Alright, so first things first, I picked up this. This is Freedom, a novel by Jonathan Franzen. I mostly picked this up because of the spine and the typography and the color of the cover. Beautiful book. It's a big ass book. This is basically a contemporary about a family and some shit goes down. Up next we have Abroad by Katie Crouch. This I picked because, again, I like the font, I like the cover. This is, I believe, possibly a mystery thriller or just like a coming-of-age novel about a girl who goes to university and gets into all kinds of shenanigans. Boys and Girls Like You and Me by Erin Kyle. This is a collection of short stories. I don't read a lot of short story collections, but when I find one that looks pretty, I'm like, why not? Next we have I Love You, Beth Cooper by Larry Doyle. This is one that I have recognized. I believe this is about a teenage boy who goes up as like a valedictorian speech and like proclaims his love for Beth Cooper, but she has no idea who he is. So I've like moderately heard about this one before. I also really love the spine and this sort of like comic cover, so I picked that one up. Then we have just a random find. This is Bachelor Brothers Bed and Breakfast. I really like the little graphic that they have on there. This is a short little read, but it's Canadian and it caught my eye because on the back it says Bill's book will do for BC what Anne did for PEI. So I have a feeling this is about BC and just some like random eccentric characters at a bed and breakfast. So Canadian, I'm into it. Definitely it's just spine grab because this is yellow and I love yellow spines. But then I'm like, this could be problematic. Is OCD Love Story by Corey Ann Haydu. From what I can tell though, I asked on Instagram and Dylan said no, it's not really problematic, so it might actually be like an interesting read. This is, I think, like teenage love story where the female main character also has OCD. So we'll see how the rep is in this. Up next, again, another yellow one. This is Ostrich, and this is, from what I can tell, a story about a young boy who feels ostracized because he's like, ostriches can't fly, so they must feel different. This is about just like a young boy who feels sort of like an outcast. Don't know anything more about that. Then we have this one, again yellow. The spine isn't yellow, but the book is, so naturally. This is Running in Heels by Anna Maxt. Don't know anything about this one. I think this is about like a relationship between best friends and like one best friend is getting married and drama. This reminds me of Michael Jackson, I don't know why. Then we have This Is Life by Dan Rhodes, and this I did read the back and I knew I had to get it because this is about a girl who is an art student in Paris. I was an art student, I just went to Paris, so I was like, yes please. Then suddenly, for some reason, she has a stranger's baby that she needs to take care of, so that sounds interesting. So, you know. It's About Love by Stephen Camden. I think this is just a YA book about teenage love. From what I understand, I'm not too sure. But yeah, we'll see. And then we also have Confessions of a Park Avenue Plastic Surgeon. I think this is actually like a memoir, I think. I thought this was fiction, but it might not be. Because he goes on to like talk about just his life as a plastic surgeon. This might actually be non-fiction, so we'll see. I feel like I'm making decent time on this, so work with me. Up next we have one that Jeff grabbed. He's like, I think you might like this. This is Sophie Kinsella as Madeline Wickham, so I didn't even know that Sophie Kinsella had like a different name. From what I can tell, this is about a woman who is a gold digger who decides she doesn't want to be a gold digger anymore. So I don't know what Jeff's trying to say by giving me this book. Up next we have Mr. Meows. I'm going to assume that's Meows. Meows? I think it's Mouse. Traveling Couch. Got this purely because of the spine. It's so beautiful. Checked on Goodreads. This has horrible ratings, so who knows. Anything, this is going to be a pretty book I never read. This is, I think, about a Chinese doctor who deals with like philosophy, so I think this might be like a deeper read or like a thinking person's book. This is one of the coolest covers I found. I knew I had to get it. This is anonymous sources, and the spine even looks like a, I don't even know how to describe that, a ransom note, and it's all like raised and textured and stuff. This is a thriller spy novel. Jeff found this one, which she's like, ooh, I think you'd like this. I'm like, yeah, that looks cool. This is Full Dark House by Christopher Fowler. This is a crime novel set in, it's set in like present day London. And then there's just like a bunch of crime guys doing crime things. And then these two are the last books I grabbed solely because of the cover and the spines, and not gonna lie, I went to Goodreads to try to figure out what these are about. I read it and I still don't know what these are about. I don't know, now I'm intrigued by both of them. This one is The Cure of Death by Lightning by Gail Anderson Dargetts. I have no idea how to pronounce that. I can barely read that writing, so Canadian like things on the back, and then one of them says, this is purely Canadian. Okay, I'll read it. Don't know what it's about though. And then lastly, of the books that I know nothing about, there's this one which is called The Mineral Palace. I think this is about a woman who like does something with minerals in like a gold mining town. Are you guys still with me? Because that was all the books that I know nothing about. We're gonna move into the 3 that Jeff picked out, and then into the ones that I recognized and have heard of before at least. So Jeff picked up a copy of Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. I've heard that this guy is like a outward homophobe and hates women, so fuck that guy. This is something to do with like breeding humans and like a government facility or something. I don't know. This is Jeff's book. He can read it. I did tell him though that the author was a big POS, and he's like, oh, okay, noted. And then he also picked up The Secret Garden. He's like, this is adorable and you should read it. So I'm like, okay. This is like an old classic book, but it sounds cute. I don't know. Then he found this really cool graphic novel called Ghostopolis, and I think I'm going to try to read this because, like, I don't know, the artwork looks really fun. I don't know what this is about at all. It says, Garth is accidentally zapped into a ghost world by Frank Gallows, a washed up ghost wrangler who discovered that he has special powers. He soon finds himself on the run from the evil ruler of Ghostopolis, who wants to use Garth's newfound abilities to tighten his grip on the spirit world. After Garth meets Cecil, his grandfather's ghost, the two search for a way to get Garth back home, nearly losing hope until Frank Gallows shows up to fix his mistake. So it's about ghost and being in a place called Ghostopolis. It looks really cool though. Like the artwork looks really fun. So I'll probably read this pretty soon. Alright, so moving on to books that I recognized. Doesn't mean I know a lot about them, but I recognize them. So that's why I grabbed them. We have White Teeth by Zadie Smith. Zadie, I'm assuming. From what I can tell, this is about like a whole lot. Like 3 generations, love, war, 3 different types of cultures, just a lot of stuff. But I've heard of this book, I've seen the cover about, and so I grabbed it and I'll find out what it's about. But please let me know about the books that I am familiar with. If you've read any of them, let me know how they are. If you've read this, please let me know how it is. I've seen many a times in chapters and I've always been intrigued by, and that is Hot Pterodactyl Boyfriend. Everybody Wants One by Alan Cumin. This is a Canadian author who wrote this book, and I just keep seeing it everywhere. This has got to be one of the funniest things that I've seen ever. This is what it says in the back. It said, he's a musician, she's student body chair. He's got six-pack abs, she has straight A's. He's 100% primal, she's a rule follower extraordinaire. He's a pterodactyl. He's a pterodactyl. This seems like it's gonna be kind of like a parody book, I'm not gonna lie. This has really, really bad reviews on Goodreads. Like, it has a 2.22 overall rating on Goodreads. To be honest, makes me want to read it more. And yeah, happy I found this because I am intrigued. So I think whenever I have like a really serious book slump, like, you know, when you've read like a lot of like heavy topics, I'll just throw this one in to kind of like lighten everything up and see how it is. And if it's absolute garbage, I'll DNF it and so be it. But Hot Pterodactyl Boyfriend. So next I found a copy of The Uncoupling by Meg Wollister. I've heard various things about Meg Wollister. A lot of people seem to really like her writing. From what I understand, this deals with a drama teacher who brings about the play, I can't think of what it's called, where the women decide to stop having sex with the men in order to end a war. I believe she teaches it in like a high school class or something, and then all of a sudden all of the women in the town have like no interest in their husband and boyfriends. So I'm interested to see sort of like where this goes and what this is about. Although I thought this was a pretty like well-known book, also has bad reviews on Goodreads, so we'll see. But the cover is absolutely stunning, and it didn't have any library stickers on it that I had to peel off. So quite frankly, this is a definite win in my book because it's a beautiful, beautiful book. Next we have One Day by David Nichols. I've just heard of this book before, and I've heard of it when I talked about Colleen Hoover's November 9, because this book has the same sort of premise in that a couple continues to meet, I think, every day on the same day every year for like an extended period of their life. I think it has a similar premise, but hopefully it's better than Colleen Hoover because my god, that book was horrible. So I'm hoping this one's good. Julie, I believe, said that this book made her cry, so pray for me because I will definitely cry then. Alright, up next we got these two gems. We have Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and then also Dawn of the Dreadfuls. Apparently this one is a prequel to this one, so we'll see. But I recently got a copy of Pride and Prejudice. I'm going to try to read it, and then I'm going to try to read it with Zombies because that seems like the more fun way to read it. So if the lighting changed, it's because the sun just came up and cakes are on the griddle. This is The Improbability of Love by Hannah Rothschild. From what I know about this is about a 31-year-old woman who's kind of just going through some shit in her life, and she stumbles across like a secondhand shop and a little painting, and then she goes through like, I think, figuring out what this painting means. I'm all about that life. Anything that involves around art, paintings, like figuring stuff out, yeah, adventures kind of thing. I'm into it. I've seen this before and I just never picked it up, but yeah, I grabbed it and I want it and I have it now, so I'm into it. Next, a book that you guys might be surprised that I picked up, but I grabbed Nevernight by Jay Kristoff. Typically not my sort of genre, but I figured why the hell not? It was like 50 cents, so I'll get it. Again, no like library things on it. I don't even think this has ever been like cracked, to be honest. Or whoever read it very delicately because there's like no anything in the spine. This is like, quite frankly, a brand new book. So I went brand new Nevernight for 50 cents. I'll take it. And then probably my favorite book cover of the books that I recognized, we have Damned by Chuck Palahniuk. I love this cover. This is like fantastic. May creep people out, but I like it. It reminds me of like old school tattoos and stuff. I just like it. And this is about a girl who died from an overdose of marijuana and meets Satan, I think. It's Chuck Palahniuk, who fucking knows? Up next, a lot of you guys are probably gonna lose your shit. I found Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. Again, big yellow book. I did take this out from the library once, but never got around to reading it because this is a big book. Like this is, so this is 500 pages, but it's basically Rainbow Rowell's version of Harry Potter. So we'll see how this is. I've heard a lot of mixed opinions about this, and I've read pretty much everything else by Rainbow Rowell at this point, so we'll see how I feel about that one. So up next we have the heaviest book that I grabbed, and not even the very final one that I'll show you, but this is so heavy. What is it about this book? Like, I gave this to Jeff, he's like, holy shit, he's like, why is this so much heavier than like every other book? And it's only like 500 and some pages, but like, I don't know what they made this out of. It weighs a ton. Like, you could club someone with this. This is Night Film by Marisha Presso, I believe is how you pronounce that. This is the beautiful cover that, like, I don't know if you can tell, this is like holographic kind of. It's really freaking gorgeous. I've heard really good things about this. This is like a mystery, thrillery kind of deal, but it has mixed media elements in it. I'm just gonna open one up, like for example, which reminds me a lot of like Illumine and Gemina. I'm like really intrigued to read this. I want to read this like right away. Possibly through Christmas, I think is gonna be my plan. I don't know why, I'm like, this seems like a Christmas book. It's so heavy though. I don't know. Does anyone else have that book? Who own the hardcover of this? Pick this up and compare it to other hardcovers because it's ridiculously heavy. Alright, second to last book. We can make it through this haul. people. We have Lisa Gardner's Touch and Go. I've read a couple Lisa Gardner's. She basically does thriller stuff. Not entirely sure what this one is about. Somebody got murdered in a family and then she's trying to figure out what the hell happened, like most thrillers. I don't like going into thrillers knowing too much, so I'm just going to assume that it's going to be good because I don't mind her writing. And then lastly, a book to jumpstart my Stephen King collection again. We have the massive book. This is huge. This is probably the biggest book I own. This is, oh, I don't even know. They're like 1,100 pages. This is Stephen King's Under the Dome. And from what I know about this, there's a bunch of people and they're all underneath a dome. Sounds great! I've been meaning to read more Stephen King, and for some reason I have just been wanting to like just acquire his entire like collection of work. That is my massive 34 book haul. If you made it to the end of this video, you deserve a massive bunch of respect, props, because that was a doozy. That's a whole lot of stuff. So yeah, I am going to go drink water because I'm dying now, and put all these books back in my massive stack. So yeah, I hope you guys are doing good. Thanks again for watching, and until my next video, I will talk to all of you soon. Bye! Oh god, now I gotta try to take a thumbnail.